Hey, Aleeza,
Yeah,
can we do something a little bit different today?
that sounds intriguing. Tell me more.
All right. So, hi everyone. I'm Sarah Zolden. For those of you who don't know me, I work with Aleeza and I'm kind of a little bit obsessed with her. Um, okay, so Aleeza, here's what I'm thinking. Normally, we bring in a topic, we break it down, and we sort of go through all the meat and potatoes that there is to know about this topic. But right now, we have the 40 Days of Connection program going on. And before I continue, just fill everyone in really quickly. What's 40 Days of Connection?
Oh, it's amazing. Sorry you missed it. 40 Days of Connection started on Rosh Chodesh Elul, which is the first day of the Jewish month of Elul, and it runs all the way through Yom Kippur. And the whole goal is that we connect to God, to ourselves, and to our soulmate, our future soulmate, this soulmate that we don't know who they are, or where they are, or anything about them yet. And we are trying to build this deep connection with God, with ourselves, and with our soulmate. And we are going through a whole process with videos, inspirational stories, an amazing, incredible workbook. Thank you, Sarah. That is just out of this world with deep questions that we're asking and reflections. And we've been getting a little bit deep, haven't we? It's been really amazing.
Oh my gosh. So today, not only do we have this program itself, but we also have a members only WhatsApp group that is hopping right now. I don't think I've ever been in any group, in any program that has had this much action on one single concept. So if you are not in 40 Days of Connection, I'm going to give you 1 day's information, 1 day's question, and I'm going to share with you a quote and then the question that we asked. And Aleeza, what I want to do that's a little bit different is I want to give no answers. Let's not give any.
We're just
Mostly,
going to have lots of questions, but
yes,
no answers.
yes.
I love it.
Mostly because I'm not an expert on soulmates. You are more of an expert than I am. And I know that there's so much more to research and to learn and to study from the Jewish perspective of soulmate. So I'm sure some ideas and concepts will come up as we ask the questions, but I want to share the question that came up in the journal today, and then some of the questions that came up from the members in the group. Can we do that?
Amazing. Let's do it. And if anybody has questions, like if we really get your brain going and you're thinking about this and you're like, oh, I have a question, we want your questions. Send them to us. coach@marriagemindedmentor.com. Send us your questions. No joke. Like, make me a long, juicy, fat list of like your top 25, 75, 175, 1,075 soulmate questions, because as soon as you start to hear these, I think you're going to agree with me that there's so many more questions to be asked before we even start with answers.
Yes. And we have already started a list of these questions, and we want as many questions as we can get because, wait, what are we going to do with the questions, Aleeza? Or is anyone ever going to get an answer?
Because you're all going to get an answer, and we have a secret plan, and we're not telling you yet. So stay tuned.
All right. Okay. So if you have a question that you want answered, we want to hear it because we want to look into it and research it and find the answer and, offer it to you in some form or another. Okay. So the quote that we pulled for today is from the Zohar, and I will read the English rough translation, which is: a husband and wife are one soul, separated only through their descent to this world. When they are married, they are reunited again. And the question, the journal prompt that we have is: what does the concept of soulmate mean to you? Are you satisfied with your understanding of it? Is there a specific aspect that really resonates with you or an aspect of it that really doesn't? And in what way does this influence your dating journey? And Aleeza, I have to say, I love this question, but when I put it down, I did not have an inkling of what sort of conversation it would spark. And I think both of us are like giddy on excitement from this.
Well, it's really fascinating because when you put things together and you know, serve your audience, you want to hit a home run, but you don't just want to hit, like, hitting the ball is good, right? First base, second base, third base, good. Hitting a home run, great. But this is like a grand slam. This is like bases were loaded and we just knocked it out of the park. But it's not, I don't want to say we knocked it out of the park. You knocked it out of the park. All the people that are in the program took it and ran with it and knocked it out of the park, which says if they feel like this and they think that this is something to talk about and something that's important and something that they're curious about, it means that other people think it too. And I just did a program. Yay! My first program since COVID started, a year and a half after my last program, in person, in Jerusalem at the OU Center. And we had 50 amazing singles there, and we threw these questions around, and the same thing happened. The same thing that was happening in the group was happening at the event. And I was like, oh my gosh, I think we got to wrap up, but like, I think
Aleeza,
we need
please
another
tell
lecture.
me that you took notes or that there's a recording or something.
So there's a recording of the lecture, but there's not a recording of the Q&A. And that's where a lot of the magic happens.
Aleeza.
But we are going to get a recording of the actual event. So stay tuned if anybody wants that.
And do you remember that we weren't sure if we wanted a WhatsApp group for discussion or not? Oh, so happy we went with yes. So happy. Okay, but everyone's waiting. Everyone wants to know, what are the questions? So
okay, I have my notes.
Just
Okay.
Who's starting?
Okay, I'm going to start. Does it make a difference if the first marriage ended in divorce or death of a spouse? Like, I don't know. How does that affect soulmate status?
Wait, I'm going to pause and edit this out. Okay. Could you not read it like don't read it like a question. Have a conversation.
But we're just asking questions. There are no answers and there is no conversation about it.
But we were asking each other questions and getting excited. I want that excitement. Should I start?
Okay, you start.
Okay, Aleeza, I'm going to start with my question. Wait, no, hold on. Once we're editing. Hold on. Let me find one that's easier.
No edit. Okay. This all goes in unedited. Video, audio, the whole format. You get everything. The real us. We never edit. We don't need to edit.
Okay, so Aleeza, here's my question. I have heard people say that a soul, that we come down as a half of a soul, pretty much like I just said, our souls are split, right? But I've heard we're a half of a soul, and then when we get married, the soul is now whole. And then I've also heard that each person is a whole soul, and when they marry, they become a greater, more powerful, holier whole. What are the sources for this? Where does this come from?
And which answer is right? Is there only one answer?
Right. Is there only one answer? Is there only one soulmate?
Well, that's another question.
Yeah.
Well, we have to keep asking the questions, Sarah. This is not about the answers. This is only about the questions.
There's no answer here right now. I'm getting so excited about this because also there's so many different things that we learn in terms of multiple soulmates, right?
Right. Is there a soulmate for every age and every stage and every season? I
love that season.
Right?
Soulmate seasons. A season of soul. Ooh, there's something here. There's a title in here. A seasonal soulmate.
A seasonal soulmate. Yes, people could definitely relate to a seasonal soulmate. For sure they can relate to that.
Yeah.
Like you have somebody that comes in and you feel like this person's your soulmate, and then they come in and as quickly as they came in, the season changes and poof, they're gone. And what you thought was there is now no more.
You know what's interesting? I was just talking with my friend the other day, and we were talking about friendships, and she was saying how she has a friend in her life from high school. She's now about 10 years out of high school, who kind of, when they see each other, they're best friends, but neither really makes an effort.
Yeah, right? They could go a long time without talking.
Yes,
yeah, I got
but it's more one-sided. My friend is at the point where she says, I don't need to put in the effort for this relationship.
Right.
And I also don't want to just because she wants me to on her terms. It kind of was like on her terms, she wants me to put in the effort. And I was saying that I really believe in seasons of friendship. I think that every person comes into our life for a reason, and we are supposed to grow and connect and gain something from that relationship. And obviously you want the friendship to end, amicably and on good terms, but it's okay for people to grow apart. That's not necessarily a bad thing. And part of me also
Unless you're
wonders,
soulmates. Unless you're
so
soulmates.
that was going to be my next question. I don't know. What if you're soulmates? Is there
Right.
no such concept of literally a seasonal soulmate? Not just seasonal soulmate in the sense of where you are in life, that you're best fit for a certain person, but maybe
You outgrow them.
yeah, maybe you either outgrow them or they outgrow you, or you fulfill whatever purpose you needed to be together, and in order to achieve more, or you know complete
Yeah,
your
you don't want me to
mission.
answer. You don't want me to tell you whether
No,
I
no,
disagree
we're
with
not
you.
answering. You do not. You okay? You disagree with this. I love it. Aleeza, we need sources because I think that this
Yeah.
is
I'm
a
not saying that
concept.
people don't outgrow each other, right?
Mm.
I think it's possible that people outgrow each other, but maybe your challenge is to figure out how to make it work anyway because you picked each other. But I'm
Ooh.
not going to get, I don't have to give answers
No,
because we
no, this
just
is
asked the
but this
questions. This is a
is
question.
this, but your answer is a question. So
Could it be true?
could it be true? Right. So really you're saying that we could, and again, these are not answers, these are us just speculating based on
Speculation.
some knowledge, some intuition, and a whole lot of curiosity. But
Okay,
I
new
think,
topic.
yeah, okay, fine.
Now I'm going to switch it up on you.
All right.
Reincarnation, right? We
Yeah.
know as Jewish people, we believe in reincarnation
Yeah.
as souls coming back.
Right.
What's up with that in soulmates? Like, did we get it wrong the last time? Do we marry like the same soul again? Do we like move on from that soul? Do we got it wrong, so we have to fix it and do something with the new soul? Is it a whole soul, a half a soul, a part of soul? Like what's this
Oh,
whole
so much
soul
here.
thing from
So
before?
much. I really want to know, are we only a half a soul? Or at this point, have we broken down further? Because I feel like I remember hearing somewhere that we're kind of like Voldemort's Horcrux, where we are at this point in the creation of the world, not a half of a soul anymore, or not a a one of two parts, but rather one of
One of
multiple parts.
multiple parts. Okay, so then what's the
Oh,
deal
oh,
also?
wait.
Go.
That could potentially feed into why someone could have multiple soulmates.
I was just going to ask you that. You stole
Oh,
my line. Yeah. So that's the question. So we've heard also many different concepts. I don't know if you've heard, but I've heard, how many soulmates do we potentially
right,
have? Right. And
right.
some people say 7, maybe 8. Haven't really heard any more than 10. 10 is really like the max.
Yeah,
But
seven's the one I heard.
yeah, I've heard a couple answers, and people throw around different sources and things, but for real, how many soulmates do we have? There's a whole world full of people, hundreds of thousands of millions of billions of people. There's lots of people here. How many of those people could actually be right for me? How many of those people are potentially my soulmate? And if like we talk about a needle in a haystack, right?
Right.
Are we talking about a molecule in a haystack? Like, what are we talking about here?
And if we're just a part of multiple parts, then if we're just one of multiple parts, and we're talking about reincarnation, do we marry the same part, or do we get to marry, do we switch it up every lifetime? Because my husband and I were just talking about this. We were just saying, I wonder if in a previous life we knew each other. Oh my gosh.
You did.
Oh
Of
my
course
gosh.
you did.
Hold on. I'm gonna go off on a little tangent. I will. My husband showed me this video of this little 8-year-old boy who says that he remembers his entire past life. He took his family to the place where he was born, to the
I've heard
village,
stories like this. I've
and
heard
he
these.
pointed at his son, who's an adult man, and said, "You're my son," and named his name. There was no connection
knew
prior to
everything?
this. He knew everything. He knew things that he shouldn't
No.
have known. And the people there even tried to confuse him, and they said, "No, that's not John. That's David." And he said, "No, I know my own son. I know my own son. That is John." And he was right. And there's this video, he went with his son to his own grave.
Oh my
And
gosh. I just got the chills.
You see on his face, he doesn't look like an 8-year-old kid. He looks at his son as if he's his son.
The son.
So then we were talking about, did we know each other in another life? Were we married to each other? Did we have a different relationship? And
right, but this you're talking about a kid coming from a whole nother place. It wasn't somebody in his family or in his immediate circles. He went out.
No, and he also showed me one more video of a 3-year-old, not Arab, Druzy,
Yeah. Okay.
kid who speaks English with an English accent, with a British accent. No one in his family speaks English. He grew like he's 3 years old, and his first language is English, and he struggles with Arabic. He's learning, because he needs
his
to know.
soul. You're saying he came in, everybody in his family speaks Arabic, only nobody in his immediate family. He's 3 years old, and he knows perfect English with an English accent.
Yes. And he names his parents and his sister, who live in London. So I don't know if they ever went to check it out or not, but
oh my gosh,
you have a 3-year-old kid who speaks perfect English with a British accent. It's the most bizarre concept. So yeah, I mean,
right. So what's this business about souls?
Yeah. And then my brain jumps to, if I have a female, because every soul has a male and female portion, right?
Right.
Essentially, I believe that's what splits. So I was going to say, are we always the same gender? But I would guess probably, right?
No. Totally no. I mean, we're not giving answers, but I don't think so. No, I don't think you come back as the same gender. We got to do research, but I don't think so.
So, but then does your soul switch up? Like, what happens over there?
Well, it's your soul. It's all complete in its perfect form. We need answers, Sarah.
Oh my God,
asking lots of
so
questions.
Good. Okay, let's go to a basic one that everyone wants to know.
Yes.
Can you marry someone who's not your soulmate?
Yeah, I do have thoughts about that one, but I'm not gonna share them with you.
Oh, you're not? Fine.
Well, it's not a question.
Okay. So
no, listen, we know we have free will, right? Yes. So how does free will play into the fact that I have a predestined soulmate? How does that connect? Right. If it's predestined, then I don't have free will. I don't have choice to choose who I want. You told me 40 days before I was born, somebody's for me. Right. Okay. Well, if that's the case, then where's my free will? Don't I get to just pick who I want?
Right.
How do you make a soulmate? But this brings us back to how do you make a soulmate? How do you find a soulmate? No, how do you make somebody your soulmate? Because
you're giving an answer here. You're giving an answer here. You're saying we make soulmates. No, you can't. Right. We don't find soulmates. We make soulmates. Okay.
You're right. Okay, you're right. I have answers. It's
we make soulmates. Aleeza's saying we make soulmates. Okay, that leads to a lot more questions. So, can we make the wrong soulmate? Or once you make a soulmate, it's a soulmate? Does that mean you can make a wrong choice? What happens if you get divorced? Did you make the wrong soulmate, or did you make the right soulmate and it's a season and you're on to the next soulmate?
I wonder. There's like unlimited questions with Soulmate.
And then most recently, right before we got on this call, when I said onto this recording, so a little background, Aleeza and I were following the conversation happening in the WhatsApp group for 40 Days of Connection. We started talking about it. Aleeza said, I must have all of these questions. And all of a sudden the questions started popping into my brain, and we jump on a call and we start hashing this out.
And then you're like, no, stop, hit record. We need to record this. This is good. People need to know about this, but we're not giving answers.
We can't give answers yet because there's still so much research that needs to be done.
Well, I think also there's so many questions that need to come out. And then I think there's, me, I like to be structured and organized and logical and go through this. I like categories of questions, right? So I want soul questions all about me. I want soul questions all about my soulmate. I want soul questions about us together. I want questions about previous people. I want questions about future people. I want every question, but I like categories of questions, and I like things to be bulked and pulled together so that the information makes sense, so that when we do give answers, that you'll make sense of them all, and it won't just be like Q&A.
Yeah. And this just kind of brings me back to the idea that there are 70 ways of understanding the Torah. So
70
I am
faces of the Torah.
so curious to see how many of these concepts contradict each other.
Right? So, and how is that possible? How is it possible that this is true and also that is true, but they are complete opposites? How can they both exist in the world?
Yeah. I was just going to say something that slipped my mind. So I forgot. Anyway, next. Aleeza, what if someone is destined to marry a convert?
Ooh.
Are there any implications? What are the implications in terms of, I don't know, that could play out either before the conversion,
saying like
after the
so-and-so is for so-and-so, right? Well, how are they calling that out if they're not technically ready for each other at that moment? I don't know, but God sees everything all together, all as one. It's not like time. Like we experience time. God doesn't experience time.
That's true.
I'm giving you an answer. I'm sorry. But we didn't answer the question about how does that affect us in terms of soulmate status and what does it mean? I mean, obviously there's still a soulmate, right? But how does the rest of the process fit into it? And what happens? I'm ready and you're not. Doesn't matter whether it's a convert or somebody who's in a difficult situation in life, or what happens when one side of the soulmate is ready and the other side of the soulmate is not ready. So I have to wait because you're not ready. Why aren't we? How do we do this whole thing that we get ready at the same time? Like, is that even possible that we would potentially not be ready together?
Well, I think that circles us back to seasonal soulmates. Because my husband and I also were talking about this. We were both just about 28 when we got married, and had been dating for 10 years because I wanted to get married when I was young, going on 18, and he comes from a Hasidic community where they get married at 18. And so part of us questioned, why couldn't we meet earlier? And the other part of us still laughs that we even ever dated.
Figured it out.
Neither of us, if we would have seen each other's information on paper, there is no way that we would have even agreed to a single date. So what were we talking about?
Soulmates. We're talking all about soulmates.
Oh yeah. So we were saying we couldn't have met earlier, but I don't think that means, this is not an answer, it's just an observation. I don't think that means that we couldn't have gotten married earlier. I think we could have each married a different season, a soulmate of a different season, and for whatever reason that didn't work out, and so therefore we married.
We're back to having multiple soulmates.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, wait. What about back in the day when men were allowed to marry more than one woman and that was just totally normal? What's going on with that soulmate concept? Is every one of them a soulmate? Simultaneously?
Hold on.
Simultaneous soulmates?
That works with the soulmates parts. Was there a limit on how many wives a man could have? I don't
forget.
actually know that.
I mean, it
I
could
feel
be
like there
much
should have been a
after
cap.
few. No sister wives, not for me.
Wait, hold on. If
Uh-huh.
the man can marry multiple wives,
Yes.
meaning that they are all what's the word? How do you say mat'im in English? Appropriate.
Like appropriate, yeah.
Suitable for him. Does that mean that they have a soul connection? Like, are they in the same soul cluster?
Oh, are the wives right? The soul,
Yes, the wives.
the sister wives, right? We call the sister
Soul
wives.
sisters!
So what's their soul connection?
What is their soul connection? Yeah.
Good question. So glad you asked.
Do they have a
Who
soul
has
connection?
questions? I think everybody has questions. Are you taking notes? You cannot be listening to this and driving, because then you can't take notes on all the amazing questions that are popping into your head. You need to have a piece of paper and a pen, and you need to be writing them down as you're listening so that you can send them to us, because I need to know the answers.
And if you have a source or an answer with a
Oh,
source,
I like that.
uh,
Yes.
that
Send
you
it.
have learned, that you're familiar with, that you came across, please send it to us. We would love to.
We're collecting them.
We're compiling all this information, and then we'll
We're
figure
compiling
out
soulmate sources.
Oh,
Seasonal soulmates, soulmate sources, soul sisters. There's so many doubles.
hold on. I'm going back to the declaration of that's made when at the time of conception, because the actual wording is the daughter so and so is for the daughter of so and so, and there's no, in terms of the daughter of so and so, it doesn't specify which daughter. So could it be any of those daughters? Like, are daughters in the same soul cluster or not necessarily? I feel like that would be weird. But it brings me back to Yaakov, to Jacob, right? When he was supposed to marry Rachel.
Rachel, and he married Leah.
And then he went back and married Rachel as well.
But he was allowed.
But he was allowed. But there still must have been some soul connection there, right?
With who?
I mean,
Leah?
obviously, with Leah.
I mean, he married her.
Right. And Aleeza believes you make soulmates. Not Aleeza believes, Aleeza's approach based on factual sources.
We're not talking about answers. We only have questions.
No, we're not. I know. Does it make a difference, Aleeza, when we're talking about second soulmates? Or
what?
Can you have a second soulmate? Like, if you get divorced, or if a person...
Right, so you have your first husband or wife, and then you have
Right.
your second husband or wife. So you have your first soulmate, and then you have your second soulmate.
Is there a difference if it's a divorce versus a death?
Is there a difference if you like them more than the other person? Right, you know, some couples are like, they're yummy, they're so connected, and you're like, oh, they're soulmates. Like, you can just see it, you know it. But how about those couples that are married, they went through the whole thing, and they're not like all yummy and cute? Like, does that have any bearing on their soulmate status? Like,
why should it,
is there like a soulmate meter of like soulmate?
Right? I feel like it totally is a soulmate spectrum. Boom. There is a soulmate spectrum. I don't know what it is or what it looks like, but I think there's probably a soulmate spectrum. No?
I mean, I don't have any answers. I can't tell you, Sarah. I don't know. Okay.
Oh,
okay. Do we have like enough questions? Do we have enough? Are you guys good?
Aleeza, there's definitely enough. The question is...
No, I mean, there's more. There's so much more.
Yeah.
No, by me, there's hundreds of questions. I'm not talking about dozens. I think when we're talking about soulmates, and this is what I find fascinating about this topic, we're not looking just for husband, a wife, a partner, somebody to be with. People could do that, but it doesn't sparkle, right? You mention the word soulmate and it's like, nah, it's like there's this angelic, singing in the heavens and stars, and it just sounds so exciting. It sounds like such an out of body experience to have a soulmate. And what if you're not the type of person that even feels connected to that, right? Like, can I still have a soulmate experience when what if I don't even believe in a soul? Ooh, what if I don't believe in the concept of having a soul? Do I still end up with a soulmate, or do I just end up with a mate? Like, what is it different for me than everybody else? Or is there like a universal law that just is, whether I believe it or I don't?
Yeah, I don't know if we'll ever get an answer to that one.
But we're going to ask all the tough questions.
All the questions.
Okay.
So wait, no. I have two more questions.
Go. Two more.
Okay. So Aleeza, we know that you believe in making a soulmate. So that's the only answer that we're going to have here tonight, which is when you marry, you make a soulmate. So
we didn't even explain it really.
We didn't.
Okay. So we're not really giving you the juicy stuff.
That's not like the deep.
Fine.
Yeah. The surface. But what can you, well, according to you, you can't make a marriage, you can't get married and not make your partner your soulmate, right? By getting married, you make them your soulmate.
Yeah. Bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh, soul of my soul.
Wait, that actually makes sense, because it doesn't have to be your ideal soulmate. It can still be a soulmate. But here's my big question. The idea of a soulmate, the way that we understand it, right, is to take parts that have been separated, parts that need each other in order to fully fulfill their potential in this world. What if someone through free will makes a quote unquote wrong choice, choosing a soulmate, choosing a person that is not ideal for them, choosing a person that will not help
them, bad for their soul.
That is bad for their soul. But according to making a soulmate, you still marry them, they're your soulmate. Can you have a bad soulmate? What if they're pulling you down? Is that a bad soulmate?
Well, right. So when people think of the word soulmate, from my understanding and my experience in talking to people, they think of like soulmate, that there's only like rainbows and butterflies and happy times and amazing. And you're saying, yeah, but soulmate, right? Like, what if it's just bad?
That literally just clicked for me. We always think of soulmates as this beautiful, and it is, but as this beautiful flowers and roses and butterflies
and happy times and the perfect person for me, that it just makes sense and it feels right. Hello, raise your hand, please. Feels right.
Hold on, let's take feelings out of the equation. We are talking about a soul connection. You could have a soul connection with someone who does not bring you closer to God, with someone who does not inspire you to be a better person. That could still be a soulmate. I don't know if that's a soulmate that, God intended, an intended soulmate, ideal soulmate, but it could be, wow.
Are you having a moment? Because I missed. No, I missed your moment. Did anybody else miss her moment?
Aleeza, I'm saying that you can have from my understanding, based on this conversation, you can have a bad soulmate. Meaning,
did you just give an answer? Are you giving answers?
I'm just thinking this.
Hypothesizing.
I'm hypothesizing. Yes,
okay,
I am
good.
not the soulmate expert, and I did not do my research. I am purely hypothesizing. But I think I just realized that we can have bad soulmates. We can
for sure.
But feelings can come into the picture. You could feel that soul connection because there is a soul connection.
But they could be bad for you.
A good soul connection. Boom. Oh.
Boom.
Boom. I feel like there were a lot of boom moments in here. Okay, we should probably stop. Because my soulmate's about to walk in the door and we're going to go celebrate our anniversary.
Your soul-iversary. You can go celebrate your soul-iversary. I am literally so excited.
Because, oh, wait. Got up another question. If you have a soulmate, when you marry them, means that, yes, it would be our soul-iversary. Well, not technically, because this is our
English anniversary.
Yeah. But I do believe that we had a soul connection. I do believe that there was something there that attracted my soul to his.
You're saying, right, before you get married, you had a soul connection.
You had a soul connection, and then we converted it into a soulmate. Got it.
You made the choice to go soul connection, soulmate. But some people just date people and they're like, soul connection, but I'm not going to marry you. That's okay. Next.
Right.
And then they move on, even though they had a soul connection, because like, I didn't like.
Not every soul connection is supposed to be a soulmate. This is so good. Like, I want to hear this recording.
Happy soulniversary to you.
Thank
I am so excited that you guys are celebrating.
Thank you.
This is like Shazam.
If this is your first episode you're listening to, tons of credit to Aleeza. I like to say she's the reason I'm married, but the truth is God also played a role, and so did my husband. That really walked me through this dating process.
I'm really glad that he said okay.
My soulmate, or he is my soulmate. But he's not what I was looking for. No.
And I was the soul detective who spied it out, detector, and I spied it out, and I was like, yeah, well, you're just gonna marry him, and you're like, yeah, I don't think so, but okay, whatever.
In all fairness, by the end of that conversation,
you were like, maybe. You did. You were like,
I said,
maybe.
I think you're right. No, I said, right. And then I said, holy schnitzel.
And then you
him.
And then you said, do you think he knows this? And I was like, no
way.
I have to break the news to him.
Yep.
It's good.
I'm going to say one thing, which is, I guess, hopefully maybe going to lead us to our next episode that you'll have to come back next week and listen to. But that night, so I spoke to you 2.5 weeks after I met him. And that night was my first cousin's wedding. And at that point I was over weddings because my cousin, he's, I don't know, like 7 years younger than me. And at a certain point, weddings are just not what they were when you were 16.
Right.
And so I spent half of the wedding outside FaceTiming hubby. When we were taught, my cousin is Hasidish. I was going to say I am not, but I am now. I was not. And so when we had the mitzvah times, which is a ritual dance that's very common in the Hasidic communities, I was outside talking to Shia, my husband, and my then friend-ish. And I said to him something about the mitzvah times, and I don't understand it because it's in Yiddish. And he said, well, at our mitzvah times, then I'll just have to explain everything to you. And we weren't quote unquote officially dating at that point. And I said, me being a head person, said, oh, what are you thinking about? And he said, nothing.
That was the answer. That was the answer for the whole relationship. What are you thinking about? Nothing. Aleeza, why did he say that? I said, because it's true.
Yes. And I think Aleeza,
because he's a heart and soul.
He's a heart.
He doesn't think about it. He just feels.
So I think, Aleeza, next week we still have to do an episode on closure that we talked about last week after the heartbreaker or heartbroken episode. But I also think that we should do an episode on head versus heart. I don't know that we've ever even done a webinar on it. So
I love this topic. This is my favorite one, and you're the perfect candidate. You guys are going to love it because Sarah,
it's funny.
You know Sarah, she's clear, she's articulate, she's to the point, she's straightforward, she says it like it is, and this just blew her mind. She just couldn't wrap her head around the head to heart conversation. So yes, I'm very much looking forward to that. And I am very much looking forward to getting all of your emails at coach@marriagemoneymentor.com because I expect to hear from you about this. We need your input. There's no way for us to give you answers if you don't tell us your questions. So please tell us your questions. And if there's spin-offs or similar, you don't have to tell us like, oh, I'm not sure if you asked this. I don't care. Just throw all the questions in there. We are trying to compile an enormous database of soulmate questions, and you can be a part of it. And join us next time.
You know what would be hilarious? If we just compiled the questions.
And no answers?
No answers.
Just hand it out to everybody else. Here you go, everybody.
Let's confuse you because life is not confusing enough. No, we need it.
All right. So good to be with you. We will see you next time. You can always find us for any of your needs. Coaching, any support through the dating, relationship, or soulmate process. And if you do work with us, we will give you answers. And normally on our programs, we do give you answers. But today we were full of all questions. And Sarah, thank you, because this was super fun, not yet informative, but it will be amazing. So thank you so much.
All righty. Bye.
Catch you next time.